I've always been the one holding my family together. My name is Anna, and for as long as I can remember, I've been the responsible one, the dependable daughter who gave more of herself than she ever received in return. When I landed a solid career as a project manager, it wasn't just a win for me, it became a lifeline for my parents. Every month, like clockwork, I'd send them nearly half of my paycheck to ensure they lived comfortably. My younger brother, Matthew, was the family's golden child. 5 years my junior, he basked in their endless praise and affection while I toiled quietly in the shadows. He was celebrated. I was relied upon. For years, I believed that if I gave enough of my time, my money, my energy, one day they'd see me, not as their safety net, but as someone worthy of love and appreciation. That hope shattered when my mother made an unbearable demand. I was to cancel my wedding to save the family business, a business Matthew had driven to the brink of ruin with his reckless spending and poor decisions. The call came just days before my wedding. "Anna, we need your help," my mother said, her voice devoid of doubt or hesitation. "The business is in trouble, and Matthew, he needs your support to get it back on track." I felt my stomach twist. This was supposed to be my time, finally, a moment for my happiness. "Mom," I said, steadying my voice, "I've always supported you, but I can't bail out the business. I have my own future to think about." There was a long silence before her voice returned, cold and cutting. "So you're just going to abandon us after everything we've done for you? Walk away when your family needs you most?" I closed my eyes, forcing myself to stay calm. "I'm not abandoning anyone. I'm choosing, for once, to prioritize my own life. I'm getting married, and I can't risk my future to fix Matthew's mistakes." Her tone sharpened. "This isn't just about money, Hannah. It's about family. We've always counted on you. If you don't step up now, the business could fall apart." The weight of her expectations crushed down on me. It was as though my dreams didn't matter, as if my life existed solely to serve them and shield Matthew from the consequences of his actions. "I can't, Mom," I said firmly. "I've given so much. It's time Matthew takes responsibility." She hung up without another word, but her disappointment lingered in the silence. The next day, as I reviewed the final details for my wedding, a loud knock startled me. I opened the door to find my mother standing there, her face twisted with anger. "What are you doing here?" I asked, shocked. She shoved her way inside. "How could you?" she spat. "How could you turn your back on us when we need you the most?" I stepped back, her fury leaving me momentarily speechless. "Mom, I've given you almost half my salary every month for years. I've done everything you've asked of me, but I can't throw my future away to fix Matthew's mistakes." Her eyes narrowed, and before I could react, she slapped me hard across the face. The sting was immediate, but the deeper pain was in my heart. "How dare you talk to me like that?" she shouted. "After everything we've done for you, this is how you repay us. You don't disobey me, Anna. You owe this family everything." I clutched my burning cheek, tears threatening to spill. This was it, the moment I finally saw the truth. To them, I was nothing more than a provider, a resource. My sacrifices, my love, my support, it would never be enough. Fighting back the tears, I took a shaky breath. "Mom, I love you, but I can't keep sacrificing my happiness to fix everyone else's mistakes. I won't let you control my life anymore." She sneered, crossing her arms. "Fine, don't expect us to be there when you come crawling back. You're making a huge mistake, Anna. Don't come running to us when your selfishness catches up to you." Her words were sharp, designed to wound, but for the first time, they didn't cut as deep. Instead, I felt an unexpected sense of liberation, as if a weight I'd carried for years was finally lifting. I didn't need her approval anymore. This was my life, and I was finally claiming it. After my mother stormed out, I stood motionless in a quiet apartment, letting the gravity of what had just happened settle over me. My cheek still stung from her slap, but it paled in comparison to the clarity that had just taken root. I had spent my entire life striving to be the perfect daughter, the dependable one, the provider. But to them, I was never more than a means to an end. That evening, Daniel came over to finalize wedding plans. The moment he saw my face, his brow furrowed in concern. He stepped closer, gently brushing his fingers against my cheek. "Lindo, what happened?" I tried to hold it together, but my voice wavered as I recounted everything. "My mom came over. She slapped me and demanded I use my savings to bail out the family business, right before our wedding. Daniel's face darkened, his jaw tightening. He pulled me into his arms, his embrace firm yet comforting. "Anna," he said softly but with resolve, "you don't deserve this. You've given them so much, and they just keep demanding more. It's not fair." I know, I whispered, my voice barely audible. "But it's hard. I've spent my whole life trying to make them proud, trying to be the one they could count on. And now, it feels like they've never seen me as anything more than a source of support." He cupped my face, his eyes meeting mine with a tenderness that melted my defenses. "You're not just their support. You're a person, Anna. You have dreams, and those dreams matter. You don't need to feel guilty for choosing yourself." His words, simple yet powerful, struck a chord deep within me. For the first time, I felt truly seen. Daniel wasn't just my fiancé, he was my safe haven, the one person who stood by me unconditionally. We spent the rest of the evening together, going over wedding details and talking about our future. For once, I felt like I was moving forward, unburdened by the expectations that had always held me back. In the days leading up to the wedding, the messages from my mother didn't stop. Texts, voicemails, emails, they poured in relentlessly, each one more intense than the last. "Anna, you're making a huge mistake," one read. "When this wedding falls apart, don't expect us to welcome you back. Family comes first, and you're putting yourself above everyone else." I deleted the messages without responding. The guilt and shame she tried to heap upon me no longer had the same power. Choosing myself wasn't selfish, it was necessary. The night before the wedding, my Aunt Julia called. She had always been one of the few family members who genuinely cared for me. "Anna," she said gently, "I've heard about everything with your parents. I just want you to know that you're doing the right thing. You've given so much to this family, and you deserve to be happy." A lump formed in my throat. Aunt Julia's words were a balm to my soul. "Thank you," I whispered, my voice thick with emotion. "It's just hard. Letting go of everything I've done for them feels like abandoning who I've always been." "You're not abandoning who you are," she replied. "You're finally embracing who you've always been meant to be. Choosing yourself isn't wrong, it's brave." Her words stayed with me as I prepared for my wedding the next morning. A surprising sense of calm washed over me. Gone was the usual anxiety that accompanied family gatherings. Instead, there was quiet determination. This day was for Daniel and me, a celebration of a life we were choosing together. As I stood before the mirror, dressed in my gown, I saw myself clearly for the first time. A woman free from the crushing weight of her family's expectations. When I walked down the aisle and saw Daniel waiting for me, his eyes lit up with pride and love. It was a look that said, "I see you, Anna. All of you." In that moment, I knew every sacrifice, every painful realization had led me here, to a place of pure freedom and joy. We exchanged our vows, promising to stand by each other in ways I had never experienced before. Daniel's words about supporting my dreams and valuing me for who I was, not what I could provide, felt like a soothing balm, healing years of pain. The reception that followed was small, intimate, and filled with genuine love. Surrounded by people who celebrated me simply for being myself, I felt at peace. For the first time, I was living a life on my terms. In the days after the wedding, Daniel and I packed up and moved to Austin. It was the start of a new chapter, a fresh beginning in a city where we could build a life free from the shadows of my family's demands. The transition wasn't without its challenges. Just days after settling into our new apartment, I received another message from my mother. It was blunt, harsh, and filled with accusations. "You've abandoned your family. You chose yourself over us. When things go wrong, don't expect us to be there for you." The words stung, but this time, they didn't carry the same weight. I read them with a newfound resilience, recognizing the same manipulative tactics I've faced my entire life. Guilt-laden words meant to reel me back under their control. But now there was no pull, only a quiet strength, a certainty that I'd made the right choice. Daniel noticed the change in me one night as we sat on our balcony, overlooking the Austin skyline. He wrapped his arm around my shoulders and said, "Anna, I'm proud of you. I know it hasn't been easy, but you've come so far. You're free from all of that now." His words were simple, but they filled me with a sense of accomplishment I hadn't realized I was craving. For years, I'd been the perfect daughter, the unwavering supporter, bearing the weight of my family's expectations. But now, for the first time, I could breathe. I could live for myself. Weeks turned into months, and life with Daniel felt like everything I had ever hoped for. We spent our days dreaming about the future, planning our next steps, and talking about starting a family someday. Our life was simple, but it was ours, untainted by the toxic cycles I had left behind. One afternoon, I received an unexpected call from my cousin Adam. "Anna," he said, his voice filled with genuine remorse. "I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I've heard everything that happened, and I don't know why they treated you that way. You've always deserved better." Hearing those words brought a lump to my throat. I hadn't expected an apology, let alone validation from someone within my family. "Thank you, Adam," I replied softly. "It's been hard, but I'm finally in a place where I feel free." Adam's words reminded me that, while my parents remained distant, there were still people in my family who cared. Over the following months, I began to rebuild relationships with those who had always seen me for who I truly was: Aunt Julia, Uncle Jacob, a few cousins, and close friends. They became my extended family, the ones who celebrated my joy without strings attached. However, my relationship with my parents remained strained. I couldn't forget the years of manipulation, the slap, or how they had always prioritized Matthew. Every time I considered reaching out, memories of the endless sacrifices and the pain resurfaced. Deep down, I knew I couldn't return to that cycle. My life, my peace, depended on setting firm boundaries. Months after the wedding, I received one final message from my mother. It was short, almost desperate. "I miss you, Anna. Please call me." I stared at the screen, feeling a familiar pang of guilt, but this time, I didn't waver. I glanced around at the life Daniel and I had built, the peace, the independence, and I knew exactly what I needed to do. I replied with a message that was both kind and resolute. "I'm happy with the life I've built. I can't go back to what it was. I need to move forward." As I pressed send, a wave of closure washed over me. It was a quiet victory, a final release of the past and all its burdens. I had chosen myself, my happiness, and my future. I looked at Daniel, at the life we were building together, and for the first time in my life, I felt truly free.